even typed it so I could read it.
All right, I'm gonna get in the audience.
Yeah. You should sit right here while I'm speaking about it. No, because there's a line at the end about you walking up the stair. It's like the way I end it. So you should. Don't worry. It's harmless.
All right.
It really is harmless. It'll be fun. It'll be fun. All right. Is anybody still in the bathroom?
All right, we'll wait for Ryan to come out.
All right. Thank you, everybody, for coming out tonight. We are going to hear from this book tonight. Patrick James Dunagan, Jimmy to his friends. Well, one friend. Patrick James Dunagan has been wrestling and caressing the curbs of San Francisco for more than a quarter century now. So you might be tempted to call him a San Franciscan. And despite his upbringing in Southern California sun and a slight snowy sojourn in New Hampshire, you wouldn't be wrong. He's an adopted son of the city, to be sure, but he's come to love it and be loved by it as much as anyone born here. More than most. Rumor even has it that people sometimes leave this place to take up residence in other climes. Why? Patrick couldn't possibly say, nor could I, I'm sure. Patrick is ever popular among the pigeons. And the seagulls out at the yard have frequently shown their affection for him. We won't mention how. At the beach, he's conspired with pelicans, and in the park, he's been known to consort with crows. He's a true city bird among them, but lest you think him a one-class or single-phylum kind of guy, he's also been caught consorting with coyotes of late, and is often overheard mumbling into a plate full of mushrooms. He knows it'll take all manner of furred and feathered beasts and a damn sight more to best the creeps lately running roughshod over so many dreams. Some of you may have heard the words of these poems. This poem. It's one poem. In your inner ears, and maybe trod their feet, as I have several times now, ruminating on its narrative crust and philosophic meat. It's a damn fine poem, and I, for one, am looking forward to hearing it take flight from this fancifully carpeted stage and wing its way through the rarefied air. So, without further ado, if you will, astonished citizenry, brazenly applaud as Hugh's foil climbs the stair. Patrick, the floor is yours.
You're my bread and circus. All right, so I just want to say thank you, Nick, for that introduction. It's sets me up ready to go. And in general, I want to thank the House of Winnington here at Bird and Beckett. Always a pleasure to be able to be on the stage and also just to be in the store and to visit the store. And I want to thank Garrett, City Lights, the editor, for the press that published the book. And then I just want to say a statement of opposition. So the recent installation of this regime in this country, backed by Christian nationalist thuggery, along with some tech thuggery, is a disgrace, and it's disgusting. And so just want to voice a standing with all peoples of color and also the trans non-binary communities, which are under a real assault. And it's very disheartening. So I'm going to read this poem. City Bird. Imponderable, Hugh declared, delighted in his proclamations, ever immersed through anecdote, thoroughly launching his joy beyond mere audition, sounding off on any or every possible hushed, occluded effort, channeling his thoughts, advancing upon the world passing, round in her song. What a story resists, speaks to expected fate, the desire to speak of circles in linear pattern, developing from out hours of repetition, progressively limited, partnering sound with sense, delving ever deeper. This outside listening tempts those who fate allocates shares, action undertaken as anonymous purveyors of the ancient arts, having unexpectedly broken in, laid bare, fresh material, everyday realities, those first recognitions compelling response, urge present compositions. Looking back, another hour, there is another story foretold of burnt offerings left out along, forgotten, rambling stops. This or that mountaintop, once thought highest, yet now recognized as only numbering among the tallest peaks, earliest settlers of this area took to calling paradise. What's been said? Who knew what and where? Details of the ongoing job, observing necessary protocols, complete with dotted I's and crossed T's. Compliant is how things shall be filed, without any hint of resolution. Documents withheld as expected. Next day, the sun rises and work commences again. Not one bit of difference noted. Who it is holding back, who not. A question of non-partisanship, pretending distanced allotment. A question portrayed as statement of fact. There's only that. Every ounce of material asserts it factual. Like a cop exploring spaced out hippie shit. Folds of time prove intricate. Closer examination reveals how similar our ways are, how embedded we've grown, our patterns of thought becoming alike, mirroring those among reported accounts. Not heading out, staying round home, pondering the next move. I wonder as my thoughts wander, evoking Wordsworth, Whitman, or is it Proust? Confusing recalled readings. Even the imaginary remains. Nothing but an attempt that fails escape the all too real of the real. Did the missing text turn up? All day you complained about how worried you were. What if it did fall into nefarious hands? Or perhaps it is simply awaiting your return to the exact location where you carelessly dropped it. But where? Turn the radio over to hear the news above his frantic disregard for respectable amplification. We've been traveling together for weeks, never having before spent so much time in close proximity. It's all so surprising. The bells begin in less than an hour. I'll turn the radio back over then, and he'll have that walk I promised. To gather information, watching light roll over sand with the waves, transforming instance after instance in the wave as the waves roll back over again and again over millennia. Rocks form tide pools, amazing inconsistency of constant occurrence. We called him Toots, given his tendency to blow bubbles, which he then loved to indiscreetly pop. Just passing the time, he called it. We loved him. His lips were precious pressure points of our markedly shared enthusiasm. The workshop slid back and forth on the slopes of hilarity, living and breathing with circumstantial heft of the subjects covered. The young are eternal and dumb, 'cause that's all they hear. Transmigration, as Saravallo knew, is needed. What you are unable to see is exactly what you must realize. Geographical maps are such beautiful things. That's Apollinaire. How we desire truth in fragments. Timidity is no vice. The young fracture the old. Pop insisted there be rules. He brought over some goldenrods, offering them up. If the house proved agreeable, they'd have an arrangement. When I came into the picture, nobody cared about identity. I slid back into the landscape, witness to everything, yet refusing fully take part. Some calling it criminal to show up like that without a hand in the game. No doubt writing is criminal living. So, what if stardust flows through our veins? Why don't we declare it? Nothing coheres. A hard covenant to live by. Doesn't all water run together? Clouds and sky defining our common everyday. Vast, amazing variety conjured irregularly above, we gaze up into. Words, just some junk stashed away. The poet, an arranger, inquiring after permanence, reflects upon mirrored occurrences, fragmentary moments, hours, minutes, seconds, solidified. Such non-transitory instances of time during which each stare turns inward, lots drawn. We drove 8 hours southeast into the desert, thoughts of Cezanne's watery garden settings pounding the brain, that limitless escape, hungering, crouching down in the corner, irrepressible, emptied space, reaching back, roaring back, lively, unannounced terror, directing our line of inquiry. The road once taken remains, openly disarming, out of step, Kerouac's American sideshow notwithstanding. We pull off, forgetting our miasma, lapsing into pit stop routine of standard watering. The poet behind this work is comfortable moving mouths of others. His or her ideal reader is an open value, willing intake of whatever flows, arrive, beginning the next shift, initiating an ever-varying approach towards, if not completion, that which by its very nature compels incompletion. Nothing to win, no goal visualized, the ongoing pursuit left off, forgotten passages returned to late nights, slipping in and out of recollection, always nearly there. Here you are, desiring, driven by instinct, pouncing your way along, Little difference between the roaming cat and that lounging gait the flaneur flaunts. Whoever walks with management backs into a corner. No other choice. Answering for others bedevils the combing out of rats from within oneself, allows entry to clever types browsing the stacks. Who slip between rows out in the field at night, the mist of early morning, but a dream in the crow's caw. Eye, gazing, interrupts cloud drift, pierced through with fiery rays, revealing solid blue. Winter daydreaming out the window, hinting of superpowers, squaring off in forbidden quarters cloistered away from local denizens. Dreams bottom out. The urgency of inscription mounts. Vibrant, inescapably startling tawny owls swarm round. Eager discussion ensues. Swans of serious decorum erupt in viscous soaring. There is distinctly pornographic residual left on the mantle. Oil derricks pumping the earth, turntables spinning songs forever muted. Listed midship in utter disarray. Clinging garments draped in jewelry, an evacuated spirit haunts the hollowed soul. No mirage, dependency offers solace. If you don't believe in being handicapped, lit up by emotional baggage, i.e., don't look back. Parts of wholes, frail outlines of left behind garnishments, offering no room for reflection. Tie back the ears to avoid a mess. Those are stars, pulsations of light, never to be recognized. There is enough of everything to go on forever until there isn't. There is too much. All this every day counts down as it adds up to what? The everything that is nothing, nothing that is what counts. An applicable measurement of accrual, that unsaid which remains said, ever present in passing hours, a daily repetition ad infinitum. No backing down or easing off, no reversing course endures. That's what it does, what we do, what work's about, getting up to have another run at it, following unknown, trafficking among clouds, the sky above the only constant, ever changing. There are no favorites, favors available only at a cost, insufficiency borrowed on bad luck. This distrusted one, tapping the other shoulder. We end in war, categorical wise-ass, exactly what the doctor didn't know better than not to prescribe. Astonished citizenry brazenly applaud. Sets the room into hysterics. Just another Sunday afternoon off the quad. All church services move outdoors for summer. In the heat, the choir cuts things short by a song or two. Hugh bites in. The only thing he understands how do well. His life always the memory of a performance he fails show for. Oh well, he tells himself, got to keep on moving. Glumly, but not without a certain amount of pure, unhindered joy, chomping away. Dead-eyed lines met with expected results. While the moment passes, holding on entails grasping after faded mirages. While the moment passes, holding on entails grasping after fading mirages. Past recollections of future division jam our siloed communications. What brings end to infinite expansion? Words don't beat sorrow. Once the heart collapses, nothing reasonable serves fill vacant chambers. Another opportunity to pass into the void. There's nothing gets done. It must be stressed. Inadequacy remains our strongest suit against powers that be. We are inherently inadequate tools for accomplishing anything. Inert. That is our greatest strength. Those who are adequate shall fail. The streets tonight are loud with support for failure. For now we rest accomplished in our tomorrows. Only the most dangerous sort of whimsical frolic draws us from our shelves. Men are robust, women meek. How lessons have failed us. Ah, yes, how lessons fail us. Judged to be nibbling the edges feels indefensibly unfair, as if being fragmentary were optional. That always imminent threat that nothing, no matter what, will be good enough. Only extremities offer passage, although never entirely safe or very pleasant, with kooks lurking every whichever path you turn down. Place the tokens down before you, however, and you shall not be blocked. Magic frequently serves answer during perilous moments of doubt. The young are always more approachable, yet there is need throughout our lives for the hope the miraculous offers from out darkness. To ward off cross-cultural curses, widespread belief says we have far more good in us than conceivably possible. You all are a dark lot. All this comes soaring along, standing on some corner under average sky one afternoon. Makes you wonder what forces are at work beyond our ken, continually shape and reshape the hours of our lives. What answers lie buried beneath such sap we've never willingly peel back to extricate. Patriotism. What such sap we're never willing peel back bark to extricate. Patriotism. What a bag. Horseshit, Hugh calls it, mumbling to himself. Shit on my shoes. Under another name. Self-interested prick. It's you and me, kid. All that loose, sentimental crap. The game is fixed. Don't any of you fuckers doubt it. Snot-nosed and unworthy. Carry on. No antidote is ever worth preserving. I did this. I did that. The voices are telling you exactly what needs saying. If you will listen. The job is a snake. Such lonesome size. Driven straight out of town, ending up here. Book on besting assholes, and you just might pull it off. The rest of us fade out in red, forever young, except we're actually growing older all this time. Listen, when you're gone, you're gone. Every moment presents a fresh memory, precise as any other. How exactly does this happen? Strange, but not exotic thoughts cloud the mind. Always have, far back as memory reaches. Timeless hours, days spent strolling streets at random, map checking only to retain such roughly sketched out trajectory ensures some sense of capable return remains certain. Stirring the work of living into action, taking heart in wandering spaces unfamiliar. Embrace any discomfort. Detect only what you full well recognize easily at the door of one's own home, as the door of one's own home. There is territory, and then there is territory. Map is our territory in one case, but may not be hung dependently upon in the next. Whenever you are mappable, you are immigrant, the world hostile. Tread with care. At another turn, the sky bleeds out ink. and as ground gives way, substance swallows you limb by limb. You have reached beyond the map. Exchanges made by the hour, how in back of his mind he lurked round the room, in the rear submersed within business, requesting variance for having another sector assigned to him. Encrypted German or something, but nothing deceitful, seemingly, if nothing true. Spelling always arising as an issue. Whether any of this is understood as intended, what is the word you wanted? Desire is only as useful as any other instrument. Letting the nose lead as one would if it were a dog's, tail and all that you followed. Careful not to overwork it. Afforded brief respite, a few of us linger in the cooling lean-to, obliged carry on into the west with our cargo. I'm back out, checking threats, the outlandish wetness of his tongue tracing final remains left out in the open to be discovered. There's nothing funny about this, but I'm laughing all the same. Under Norma's window, Brian's creeping about. The lights are on, but nobody's to be seen. This is spirit talk, wishing for the best, employing glass, clear rather than fuzzy, blurred round the signature ring of fire found bottom of older bottles. A whole year circling her block, at least once a week, yet you never noticed. Hold the results. We'll need evidence to get us out of this fix. Transactional proof alone matters. Although as much as it matters, things remain as they are, lost to us forever. Familiar hangers-on, those words left with mouths hanging open in state of pure anticipation, how it feels to know every part, yet not be part of the whole. Asked about it, you have no qualms in answering affirmatively. There are those among many you have sought for in vain. Simple as that. Turning the table to position the next questioner under that same red moon in the dead of a winter night. Every wish their larger world resists. One continuous fabric tussled with against the necessary reality some call angel and others devil. Follow the light to the end of that pier, dazzling crystalline sheen extending out below, pop and flow of jetsam, harbor trash really, banging against pilings. His memory, the writing continues. We're approaching being there, creeping closer every which way. And we're not going to be looking back, plowing ahead. What a melange. This gang of words driven through the head, murder of crows flapping round roof peaks, calling into the morning air. I'll wake with scattered ink and watch how they soar about above the street out front, bestowed radiance, the coming light gently rising from off hilltops as the cars swing up, activity in the street, trains and cars sharing the middle lanes, that passing pedestrian, the sidewalk grimaces under, all the hustle of fabricated thoroughfares. How useless. Our agendas reshape nothing, never have. Each hour has its own momentum. Feel it. Don't ruin yourself reaching for it. Outside thoughts of beginning to write arouses the impulse to write. Nothing describes the actual momentary occasion better than the absence of it. Forgotten dinners long ago missed due to excess of drinks and much talk beforehand. The compulsion to keep going, reading each endeavor after the next into coming action ahead. She gave her feedback as calmly as an overabundant amount of aggressively feeling what the fuck allowed for. These gatherings are so sobering, yet nobody leaves early. Just being there is as lovely an occasion as possibly given the situation outside. I heard he howled well, so I took him at his word, complete, exchanging sensitive glances of like-minded estimation over who best who when words are torn away, trading on losses, lots assigned at terminus, no easy passing back and forth between cars, although there's plenty gauge ahead not giving us too much trouble. Is it broken valve syndrome? Maybe. Hard to say, but maybe. You see, Jimmy pushes us so hard we hardly would have heard of anything like that round here. Just like heaven or the apocalypse, two sides of one outlook, each no weightier than the other or less bleak await. A celestial parlor game for kicks comes down to mere numbers. Cast down in the back lot, shit out of luck. Borrowed breezes arriving off morning fogbank, a passion for all things Greek. Even the scent in the air, nights after massacres or mass drowning, cast up against the rocks, notches in the plank were tallied up. That silence of coin palmed across waters. You can't tell it anything. Anonymity gathering in globs. Mass of pages piling up. Where the ink sets down doesn't necessarily serve as counterpoint. Seeking words to live by. Words her afternoon airs took turns reciting. Note the lilting casual delivery of her proclamations. Joy rising up crashes against the glare from front windows. No simple high. A new alphabet would be a good idea. But who would draw numbers for all those characters? Continue working long enough, it grows into a monumental bulk. How not discover some value buried in there somewhere? Mess of study, measured accumulation. Easier said than done. It goes away. Imagination unravels. Passing through streets, leaving some pieces here or some bits over there. A trail of decomposition. Silent, wandering hunks of material bonded together, resolutely feeling their way around town. Nothing stranger than seeing them traipsing around without a sound. Dodgy as their appearance indeed is, there is no eagerness among citizens to relate with them. An unwelcome coolness characterizes the reception fate upholds. With plenty of work undone and only the final quarter left, these final minutes either prove noteworthy or simply disappoint. How the thing grows on you. The longer you stare, the steadier the gaze answers you back. The work falls away, unwinds the clock, facing the door, not expecting to be left out. Why would you? No visitors do stare about a while, feeling the walls, give back sense, beyond ideas, vision. Roadless wisdom unasked. Experience imposes rules, breaking against impulsive habit. Listen, just sit there. Here come the words. Everybody writing stories about others. Inconsistent facts. Doing away with the freedom of open air. Swirling tide pools. Water gathers around rocks. Danger ever present. Risk of just being where one's presence is precarious. He even eats teeth. He could talk with a wall and get it to respond. Advice is anything other than necessary or simple enough to acquire during times of struggle. Indecision never less than troublesome. She drops the iron and stares. Ignition triggers the heart. Lifting by way of the blood of touch to launch the eye. Something alien, something nearer to the heart. Hard numbers handed over in lines of tens keep you counting. Oh, I would never publish that. Another sounding out, another excelling disavowal of the tendency expressed. Have a start at ending. Worked over remains, scattered just ever so. That haranguing is constant with him, a relentless pushing at others to expose what is never there in the first place. That empty script in his head rolls on forever as he thumbs through it over and over. Wasted pornography of unheralded depths, blown. Having targets won't do. You listen, see, but don't stop to listen, unless you forget. Moves must arrive in unison or nothing moves. Complications compel desire. Fitting the parameters sought after, he delivers shape without comment, broadening the horizon lines for us all. That moment when you only know of arriving, proof demanding no countenance. One bowl exchanged for bowler hat. Comb given over to the comber, trickster denying the trick. Practitioner of the art of practice, the word for it, bent design. What troublesome bore, such diligent erasure. Returned, uneaten, the whole strikes the calendar clean. No blowback, sticking to the strict policy keeps them returning. Blocks away, the wind still blows leaves, scatters trash cans, the boy will catapult over, bored beneath his feet. A wildness the wheels deliver to his heart. Deeply peculiar need that will know no satisfaction. From the lives of others we draw understanding. With passion comes the allure of belonging. We pass away without care. Dare we ignore the endless draw once we become aware? A friend at the center of every one of us reaches out to the lonely mind with stubborn tenacity. Give us the words to obey. Write the script the sky wept. Do not fail finish. I listen intently to the discussion, feeling the depth of the camaraderie, crisp in the air, realizing there is nothing finer than the feeling comes from belonging. Hugh settles in, turning back to his sandwich. Thanks. Yeah, double it up.
Why not?
Thank you. House Whittington. Champions. Always.
I don't know. You were in the boxing video.
Oh.
You're the fighter.
No, it's not bring that.
Thank you, Patrick. Let's applaud the man again. If you don't have that book, we have a couple over there. If you do have it, we got a few other books too. So, feel free to check it out. Thanks for coming, everybody.
Yeah, thank you.